occasionally, someone will come up to me and say, hey Neil, will you coach me? Will you do a coaching session with me? Will you walk me through what? And I'll say to them, I don't know if you really want to do this. Sometimes it can be a little bit intense and a little bit scary, etc. But I thought I would just take a couple of minutes and kind of walk you through a coaching call that I've had over the last week or so. Would that be okay? You guys interested in that? Yes. Okay, good. All right, so write this down. So far, we've had 5 weeks since the beginning of the year. 5 weeks. In that 5 weeks, there were 25 work days. Write that down. 25 work days. We also had planned 10 days off. Write that down. So along with 25 work days, we have 10 planned days off by the business plan that I asked you to work on probably about 3-4 weeks ago now. Now, according to your business plan, what was the goal on how many closed escrows you would have? This is the first question of our coaching call. What was the goal of how many escrows you would have closed so far this year? So if your goal was 36 transactions, you should have how many closed so far this year? 3, maybe 4, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood, right? So my first question to you, the second question I guess is, how many do you have so far based on your goal? If your goal was 36, you should have 3 or 4. If your goal is 24, you should have a couple. You guys with me on this? If your goal was 12, you should have 1 or 2. Okay? So write that down. What was your goal? And where should you be right now? Now the question is always, is there business out there and is somebody doing it? Okay? So let's establish now if there's business out there. So in the last 90 days of the year, October, November, and December, there were October, November, and December, there were 56,644 closed properties. Okay? It's 59,000, excuse me. There was 59,730 properties. 59,730. And that was in 2014. The numbers, we had 59,000 in, so we had, if it's less last year, sorry guys, if it's less last year, that would be 56,644 last year, and in 2014 there was 59,730. So year over year, 14 had more transactions than 15. You guys with me? For that last 3 months, by almost 3,100 deals. So there was 3,100 less closed transactions in the last quarter of 2015 than there were in 2014. Okay? You guys with me?
Yes.
All right.
What's the area?
Sorry?
What cities?
Great question. So Bruce asked what cities. That's in what we call the CRMLS. So that's most of the board of realtors that we work in, from Orange County to Los Angeles to Redlands on this side, out Torrance, past north of Torrance, South Bay, etc. Okay, just about every one of the areas that we work in, that covers it. Well, think about this. Even though there were less properties, there was 56,000 less. There was 3,000 less properties, or 56,000 property. There was still 56,000 properties.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? There's less, but that's still a pretty awesome amount. In fact, if you annualize that, it's 56,000 times 4. So you have almost 210,000 properties that actually closed escrow. Does that make sense? Sure. So how many do you need of 56,000 in 3 months to have a good 3 months?
5, 10.
Hello? Somebody's got their hand up? How many back there? How many? 3. Okay, good job. Do you guys get where I'm going with this? Yes, there was less. Yet, there was still a really good amount of property. Really good amount. These are, by the way, these are closed transactions, and that's 56,000 sides. So it would have been 28,000 listings and 28,000 sellers. So it's already 2 sides. You don't have to double that. You guys with me? Great. January, so I said, all right. So now let's look at what January looks like. So if we've got this going on, should January continue, be the same, go up? What should January look like? If those 3 months are sliding, what should January look like?
I think it would go up.
Go down. Simple shit.
Well, I don't know. You know,
It's half full.
if there's, you know, the glass is half full or half empty, because you could say that the momentum is doing X. You could say it's the beginning of the year. We're only sampling a month and a half, 5 weeks. So this is we're looking at this as a 5-week sample. Okay? So in fact, that 5 weeks went up. Even though the last 3 months were going down, that 5 weeks went up, and we went up 834 closed transactions. 834. We went from 14,000 the year before to 15,000, just under. So it's just right around 900 total. So there's a few more transactions. Now, are prices going up or are they coming down? Hello? Slightly up. You know, my contention there, and I've said this for a long, long time, well, since the market's been changing, about 6 years, that pricing is going to be attached to what? Prices going up and coming down in this cycle are going to be attached to what?
Going up.
No, what is it going to be attached to? Not rates,
Inventory.
not inventory, not inflation. Oh boy. Elections, no. Okay. My forecast. I did forecast this. Okay. You can go back. I have many, many videos that talk about this. Income. Good.
Is attached to income.
It's attached to income. It's attached to what people earn. Okay? Why? To get a loan today in this cycle, okay, you need to have a few things. But one of them is a job. In fact, you almost can't get a loan without a job. And if you do, it's going to cost you more money, and it's going to be what they call a hard money loan, da-da-da-da-da. It's all kinds of different rules involved there. But if you're going to get a standard loan in the marketplace today, you're going to have a job. You're going to have good credit, right? You're going to have the property's going to have to appraise, and you're going to have a down payment, right? Not necessarily what we needed to have in 2003, 4, 5, and 6, different cycle, but that cycle that we have today. So therefore, it's any rises or raises in the values will be tied to what people earn and how much of a raise do people tend to get. When you work for America,
How do you track that?
how do you track what?
The income thing.
You mean in terms of what they're getting in raises? So that's the question. The question is, in America, what do people tend to get as a pay raise?
5%. 5%?
Somewhere between 3 and 5%. Okay? Each job's going to be a little different, and people are going to have different criterion and different education, and there's going to be different needs. You're going to need this kind of a person as opposed to that kind of a person, so that it might go up a little bit. I get that. But 3 to 5%. That's what the property values are going to go up. And in fact, that's kind of what's going on, isn't it? 3 to 5%. So, in your business plan, we see the numbers. We see that right now, properties are selling and closing escrow in January at a little bit better rate than we were in the first quarter. So I would look at this and be very positive about it. It would be, to me, kind of exciting. I'm not quite sure what the last quarter really, why it was what it was, but I would look at it that way. So, here's a question. Your business plan started January 1st, and we've had 25 days, we've had 35 days, 7 days in a week, 5 weeks is how much? 35 days. 25 of them are work days, 10 of them were off, holidays, okay? So I wrote down here, if you prospected 4 hours a day, just want to get you a picture. If you prospected 4 hours per workday, and most of your business plans probably said something around 3 to 4 hours a day in your business plan, and you did that for 25 days, right now you would have prospected how many hours so far this year? How many?
100.
How many?
100.
Louder.
100.
You know what I'm going to ask you, right? And if you prospected 100 hours, and you did 8 to 10 contacts an hour, how many contacts would you make for those 100 hours?
800.
Sorry?
800.
800 to 1,000. You with me? Okay, now, if you took 1 day a week and you did a blitz like we're doing today, 1 day a week, that would mean that you did 5 blitzes over the first 5 weeks. So 5 blitzes at 40 contacts a blitz, okay, is how much? 5 times 4 is? 200. So I would make 200 contacts for the first 5 weeks. Okay? You either have eaten too much or you don't want to hear the end of this coaching call. The second thing is, I ask you to work a 5-day work week. Most of your plans call for a 5-day work week and 10 days off, okay, during the first 5 weeks. So therefore, on a 5-5-10, 4 days a week, you would have previewed 5 houses a day, 4 days a week. You guys with me?
Yeah.
So that would have been 205. So 25 times 5 is how much? 125. So you'd have previewed 125 houses. Okay? And I would have asked you to go see 5 expireds a day at the door, 5 days a week. So you'd have saw 125 expireds at the door, right? And if you would have door knocked 10 houses around the 125 and the 125, that means you would have door knocked 2,500 doors you would have knocked. You'd have just knocked on 2,500 doors. And we know that if you go knock on that many doors, that 30% of those people are going to be home. So that means you would have talked to 750 people. Think about this. In 5 weeks, you would have seen 125 homes. You would have knocked on the doors or gone to see 125 expireds at the door. And you would have talked to 750 people in the first 5 weeks. If you would have done that, Could you have listed or sold more property than you've done so far this year?
Yes.
Hello? Yes. So my coaching call, my first thing in my coaching call is a couple of questions, okay? So, did you do it? Don't answer. Okay? Could you have done it?
Yes.
Could you have done this work?
Yes.
Should you have done this work? Could have done it. There's nothing there that prevented anyone that I'm talking to right now that could. This is doable. Okay, it would have taken a little effort. You would have had to be out in the field a little bit, but it's all doable. And you certainly should do it. Okay? And we know if you did do this, you would do more business. You would have more leads. You'd follow those leads up and have more appointments. And you'd follow those appointments up and you would have more listings and more sales in the first 5 weeks. You'd have a pretty awesome 5-week period, wouldn't you? Okay. Okay, that's only the first few minutes of the coaching call. So here's a few more questions. Based on those numbers, by the fact that you didn't do the numbers, can you expect more business or less business in 2016? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You didn't do the numbers. Okay, probably less, right? Okay. Here's another question. What do you think kept you from doing and achieving those activities and those goals so far? That's a question I would ask in a coaching call. Anybody uncomfortable yet? Okay. What are the benefits to you when you get back on track? You're off track. We're all off track right now. We've admitted it. First 5 weeks, we're off track. What are the benefits of getting back on track? We have to establish the benefits of getting back on track. I'm going to get the money for my kids' school. I'm going to buy the couch.
Taxes?
I'm going to be able to pay my taxes in April. I can pay my car payment. I can get that new car. I can go on that vacation I want to go on. Put money away for my retirement. You know, all the benefits of the goals that we lined up. This is why it's critical for you to have your goals in front of you. We talk about this all the time. You don't have your business plan in front of you. Most of you don't. And therefore you don't have your goals in front of you. And then therefore it's out of sight, out of mind. I can't remember why I wanted, I did want to take the family on that Disney cruise this year. We talked about it. I'd like to do that. Well, 5 weeks of the year's gone. And if you didn't do what you're supposed to do, or you're already behind, playing catch up is a bitch. Just is. It's a pain. I get it. So how often should we have calls, coaching calls, and should I talk to you guys about this? Once a week, once a month, once a half a year, once a year? I got an idea. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what some companies do. They have their business planning. Do your business plan. Give it to me. Give me a copy of it. Put it in here. All right. Good job. High five. Okay, now put it away when you won't lose it. Right? And then they bring it back out when? In December. Or maybe it's the kind of company or organization that talks about redoing the business plan in October and November. So you got to get the old business plan to decide what you want to do for the new business plan. And then by the time it's October, if we haven't had these conversations, how likely is it that you could possibly hit those numbers? Then what happens is you're mad at me. You're mad at me because I didn't bring it up. Now, you have some responsibility in this, but of course you won't take it. You'll be mad at me because that's my job. Everybody has a job. I'm the one you get mad at. Neil didn't tell me. So I'm telling you, it's 5 weeks. 5 weeks. How many 5-week periods do we have the rest of the year?
10.
We have 10 of these.
That's all.
Well, on one side, that's all. And on the other side is, wow, we still have 9 more. Okay, so I screwed this one up. Okay, but I can get the other 9. And if I did the activities we were just talking about, wouldn't the next 9, if I did those in the next 9 that I didn't do in the first one, would it make a difference in my life? And absolutely. So I wrote down here, on a scale from 1 to 10, how committed are you to making that happen? It's a coaching question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how committed are you to making it happen? And then the other question is, what happens if you don't make the money you need? Not the money you want, the money you need. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to end our coaching call by giving you a few ideas on what I think you could do right now to make a difference, to focus in, to change your life where it is right now. You guys want that part, or would you like me to talk? Because I could talk about this other stuff. I got some other things right here. No, it's right here. You'll think I'm kidding. All right, write this down. Number 1, get into action. Get into action, get into action, get into action. Call every lead you have and ask for an appointment this week. It is critical not to let your leads sit. You have leads. Call them and ask them for an appointment. Do you want to buy or sell? We talked last week, last month, last year, whenever you talk to them. They're leads. Do you want to get an appointment? Let's set an appointment for this weekend. No. Okay, how about next weekend? No. Well, you said you wanted to buy or sell something in this year. Yeah, well, okay. That's okay. Tear up the lead and go to next. Because now you have one less lead. Problem is we have too many bad leads. And we think they're good because they said, what? They said they were going to list or sell after the first of the year. And now, what do you got? But you believe them. I hear this all the time. Neil, they said. But they said. Yeah. Okay, on every lead, close 4 to 6 times on every lead. Remember, you lose business when you're not aggressive. You lose business when you're not aggressive. I wrote down here, prospecting is lead generating. Follow-up is appointment setting. Prospecting is lead generating. Follow-up is appointment setting. No leads equals no appointments. No appointments equals no what? Money. It's that simple. No leads, no appointments. No appointments, no money. Done. End of conversation. Is there another way you can do that? Hello? No. I wrote down here, this is a secret. Most people in sales don't know this. Okay? Get out and talk to people. Big secret. Okay? Underline that. Circle it. Okay? You know, at the end of the day, the truth is, you got to take some listings, right? Yes. Hello?
Yes.
You have to take some listings. So, I mean, we can create this great system for you doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this. But the bottom line is, you need to take 5 listings a month.
Yes.
You just got to get them. You got to find them. You got to do it. And nothing else matters. You just have to get in the way of 5 or 6 or 7 people who may or may not want to buy or sell something. So, get out and talk to people. Expireds, for sale by owners, old expireds, past clients, sphere, doors, but get it done. Got it?
Yes.
I wrote down here, pre-qualify even more intensely than you have in the past. You've pre-qualified, you've asked pre-qualifying questions, not good enough. Not good enough. More intensely, more focused than ever before. You don't know what to ask, you don't know what to say. See one of the coaches, stay here for the advanced script class. We go over that kind of stuff every week. Pre-qualify more intensely than you have in the past. Don't let anyone fall through the cracks. That's the goal. No lead falls through the cracks because you didn't follow up enough. That's the biggest cost of business we have. Single biggest cost of business we have, next to our ego, is losing leads that we had. We had them. We had the phone number. We had the name. They talked to us. But we didn't follow up enough, or aggressive enough, or intense enough, and they did business with someone else. Nothing worse. I wrote down here, pre-qualify every lead and ask every pre-qualifying question. And then I want you to record your prospecting and share it with your coach. Remember what I said? Ego was the biggest expense? Most of you will not do that. Why? Why won't you record your prospecting? Come on, tell me the truth. Because you're embarrassed. Because you don't think you sound well. You don't think you say the right things at the right time. Well, guess what? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. I can't tell you. When I started doing sales meetings a long time ago, how nervous I was getting up in front of people and sharing ideas and just doing that kind of stuff. Okay. Yet to do my job, this is what I need to learn to do. You know, and hopefully I do it at a decent level that I can move people. Okay? My job is only to move you to action. I have one job. To move you to action. Nothing more frustrating to me than not being able to move you to action at any given time. Okay? But that's my job. But your job is the same thing. Your job is to move your leads and your clients into action. To buy or sell that house. To list that piece of property. Or for you to be able to determine where there isn't anything there. That's fine. Move on. I wrote down here, work harder on pricing during the listing presentation than you ever have before. Work harder on pricing during the listing presentation than you have ever before. There is more inventory coming up every day, right? Say yes.
Yes.
And that means that there are more properties on the market. They're staying on the market a little bit longer, so they aren't selling quite as quickly. And those properties that aren't priced well are going to expire. And the clients are not going to be mad at me. Who are they going to be mad at? Your clients are going to be mad at who?
Us for not pricing it.
Well, they don't know you didn't price it right. What they know is that their house didn't sell. And you have to learn how to be aggressive and to be truthful, to be confident, and some of that comes from previewing property. You wondered when I was going to get to that. 27 minutes. Got to previewing properties in 27 minutes. Good job. I wrote down here, spend time memorizing the answers to the common objections in order to build your confidence. The common objections are, I have a friend in the business. I want to think about it. I want to cut the commission. I wanna. They're common. We've been getting these objections since the beginning of time. My very first listing was a for sale by owner in 1971. For sale by owner. Guess what the objection was? They didn't want to pay 6%. Go figure. Fast forward, 2016. You're calling and talking to a for sale by owner. What is it they usually don't want to do first? pay the commission or pay the full commission, right? Okay? That objection's been there since 1971. I'll bet you it was there before I got there, too. I wrote down here, upgrade your presentation. Upgrade your presentation. Upgrade your presentation. And make sure that every seller gets a pre-listing package from you. Make sure, without fail, every seller gets a pre-listing package. You do not want to be on a listing presentation without your sellers getting a pre-listing package from you before you show up. Not when you walk into the door and give them a pre-listing package. That doesn't have the same impact. Figure a way to get it there the day before, the night before, the morning before, but get it there earlier. Might cost you $6, $7, $10, $14. I don't know what it costs for FedEx to do it. Maybe you can get your title company to help you out and get them to deliver it. Maybe one of your lenders can help you out. I don't know. Work it out. But here's what I do know. Let's say it costs you $15 to get it there, FedEx. Let's say. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I get it. And let's say you did 100 this year. FedExes at $15. How much is that? How much? $1,500 to deliver 100 listing presentation packages that you're going to meet the client. Hello. How would you like to go on 100 listing presentations this year?
Yeah.
Yeah? Huh? Hello?
Yeah.
And to do that, it costs you $1,500. Do you think you might get a listing or two that might help pay that $1,500? You guys are playing small. You're playing cheap. Okay? I get it sounds like a lot of money. Yet, you're playing small. Here's the deal. You get to a listing appointment. And you're competing, in most cases, with somebody. Either from this office or from another office, but you're competing with someone. If you sent a pre-listing package and they sent a pre-listing package, you're on the same footing. Pretty much, right? If you sent a pre-listing package and they didn't send a pre-listing package, woohoo! You have a little one-upsmanship there, right?
Yes. Yes.
If they sent a package and you didn't send a package, you never want to be there. Never. Now, you still may win the listing, but boy, let me tell you something. That is not a good starting position. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Whew. I wrote down here, over-prepare for your presentations. Next point. Over-prepare for your presentations. Over-prepare for your presentations. Know your inventory. Preview. Know your market stats. Know your area stats better than anyone. It's not hard to do. It's just not that hard to do. Yet, you do need to take a little bit of time, and you do need to focus on it. I wrote down here, remember, at a presentation, and anytime you're meeting the client, at the presentation, but anytime you meet the client, because anytime you meet the client, is that a presentation or not?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Anytime you meet the client, it's a presentation. Let me tell you something. You better look nice. None of this schlocky stuff with jeans with holes in them and shorts because you were just going to open the door for the client and you got your dog and oh my, good to stop doing that. Okay? Look sharp. On a $500,000 deal at 6%, that's a $30,000 commission check. Yeah? That seller, now I get you might not be getting the full $30,000. I get that. But the seller doesn't know that, do they? They think they're paying you a full $30,000. You better look sharp. Prepare for your presentation. Know your inventory. Then I wrote down here, remember that energy and enthusiasm are required. It is showtime. Energy and enthusiasm are required. I wrote down here, look at every facet of your presentation and become better at it than anyone else. I wrote down here, work your past client and sphere even more aggressively than I've been asking you to work it over the last 6 months. Way more aggressively than we've talked about it in the past. Here's the point I want you to get on that subject. If you have 200 past client and sphere in your database, whatever that database looks like, could be on 3x5 cards, I don't care. Whatever that looks like, worked properly, meaning emailed weekly, snail mail monthly, phone call every other month, that 200 should equal 20 transactions for you over the next 12 months. Guys got that? You don't get this. Maybe you don't believe me. Okay? Let me tell you something. That's a real statistic. A is a real number and happens all the time with top agents because they know that's where their business is coming from. 20 transactions out of 200, directly and indirectly. Now, it may not come that they do business with you directly, but they give you a lead of someone who will do business with you. Do you get that? Yes. Directly or indirectly. 20 deals in that base. You need to be looking at that every single month. Where did my business come from? Did I get my if it's 20 deals, I need to be getting, 1.5 to 2 transactions from that base every month. Is that happening? Am I getting that business? Because that 20 transactions coupled with expireds and for sale by owners and the just listed, just sold, you've got yourself a 35, 40 transaction year. Hey, in most of our markets, that's worth $400,000 or $500,000. I think that'd be okay for most of you in here. I guess a couple of you that would be a problem with, but but most of you would be okay, right? Right? Okay. I wrote down here, you need to get more listings in the next 5 weeks than you've taken in any 5-week period that you've been on. Whatever 5-week period, whatever the most listings were that you took, you have to beat that. You have to beat it. I don't know how many hours of prospecting that's going to be. I don't know how many doors that's going to be. I don't know how many presentations that's going to be. But whatever it is get the business. Because if the market is starting to ramp up a little bit, that means that competitors are going to come back into the marketplace. They're all always coming in. Right? Your market is this big. Okay? That's your market. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay? Now, you have some top agents, and they get these pieces of the market because that's what they do year in and year out. So they take from the market, but they're getting better, they're getting more aggressive, they're getting stronger, so they're taking a little bit more from each of those areas. So the market stays the same size. Get it? Goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit, but that market stays the same size. These top agents get a little bit better, so now the amount of listings and sales that you get to make starts to shrink slightly. You guys with me?
Yes.
Here's the other factor. The other factor is that the agents that have been sitting on the sidelines, the ones that look like they might want to come into our industry, start to come into our industry. They get real estate licenses. They come in and they take a deal or two. And the agents that are in here get a little bit better. So what's happening is, if you're not getting better and the market staying the same and shrinking slightly, and you're not getting better, is your business this year going to grow or possibly decline?
Decline.
It can decline because of the outside pressures that are on this marketplace. You have an opportunity right now. You can make a difference. You can change where you're at and what's going on. But you have to, where we started, take action. Everybody with me? Yes. All right, let's get out there and make it happen. Thank you very much.